Hello everyone, welcome to one another episode of weekly sectoral analysis. The summer is about to end and even I am waiting for the monsoons, and with that upcoming monsoon I am also waiting for either a breakout on the upside or probably either a breakdown on the downside, because it has been few days since when the Nifty, the overall market has been choppy. Let's understand how each and every sector is shaping up in the last week. So first, by looking at the Nifty, I would say that the trend is surely down in the weekly time frame chart, but the momentum is missing. Over here, we could see clearly that the momentum was on the downside and then there was a pullback. But in this fall, the momentum is missing. The momentum is also missing, and if we check on the daily time frame chart, you can see that there is a support. The support is somewhere between 23,100 to 23,030, or you can even call 23,000 in round figure. 30 पॉइंट का उतना कुछ बड़ी चीज नहीं है मतलब. So if this support works out and if we have an up move, if we want an up move, then the first thing is Nifty needs to break this level, which is possibly somewhere around 23,850 or something like that. Then again there is a second gap in this zone. So this is not easy. This is not easy, and it has been days. It has been 6 to 8 days since when the market has been pretty choppy in nature. It's extremely choppy, right? So if you are an index trader or something, be very, very careful. Make sure that your trades are just limited to day end, yani ki intraday. Makes no sense to carry over your trades until and unless you get a big move on the downside, on the upside, or a big move on the downside, and then you get a confirmed trend. So overall, I would say that the trend is still down in the weekly time frame chart in Nifty, but the momentum is missing. Now going ahead to Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty, on the contrary, is different. Bank Nifty first gave a down move, then it gave a pullback. In this pullback, it immediately started going down. Last week, no doubt, there has been a small green candle over here, but still the overall momentum is still on the downside, and that is due to the PSU banks. One small information what we should be understanding is, yes, we are near a decent gap ending. This is probably a decent gap ending where there is a decent support in the zone probably of 52,800, because यहाँ पे ये gap बंद हो रहा है, or you can say max to max 52,800 से लेके 52,725, 70 points का range है. So this is where the support lies. But overall trend, momentum and biasness in Bank Nifty is still on the downside, and this is mainly due to the PSU banking space, because the PSU banking space has been trending on the downside pretty nicely and confidently. You just look at the way the daily charts have been moving down. There was an earlier trend, then we had a pretty decent pullback, and again we have come down. And in fact, in this current fall, which started somewhere in end of April, I would say that this entire fall has almost retraced till 100% retracement. It is almost close to the lows of the starting of April. This is a clear sign that the momentum is on the downside. Even if you have a look at the RSI over here, RSI has also broken this low. Price may not have closed below this, but RSI has broken this low. This is a sign of strong down momentum. Okay. Private banking space, on the other hand, now I'm comparing PSU banking charts, see the way it has fallen, and now I'm comparing private banking charts. Now, if you remember, I think couple of weeks back or maybe 3 weeks back, I had shared in a video and even tweeted on Twitter that private banking space is that particular sector which, if it gives an up move, which it can, I would repeat, which it can, if it gives an up move, then it will help to pull Nifty and overall market on the upside. Why? There is a certain reason behind it, which I will share in the end of the video. Don't worry. So currently what we can see is the trend is still down. The trend is still down. You can see that the price is below the moving averages, but we have a high wave candle here, and the high wave candle is coming at the 50% retracement of this entire fall. Now, high wave candles coming at a support is a sign that the sector is overstretched on the downside. Number one. Number two, if you check so far, मुझे ये नहीं पता अगले हफ्ते क्या होगा. Anything can happen. But so far, if you can see, this 50% retracement is acting like a magnet. It's not able to close below this particular level even for one single day. Below that, there is even one small level which is also a support, which is 25,200, and basically this entire zone is a gap. On the last Friday, there has been a small up move in the private banking space, and you can see that the private banking space has been able to close up by 1.49%, and it has outperformed the entire sector list of sectors which I have shared over here. So is it the time? क्या ये time आ गया है that private banking space will give a breakout now from this trend line over here, resistance? Well, we don't know. Only time will tell. But keep an eye on this sector. If this sector gives a pullback, then we'll have to tackle with one more sector, which also should give an up move for the entire market to come out of this uncomfortable choppiness which is there in the last few days. Oil and gas space. Oil and gas space, again, I would say that the overall state of trend is flat. Earlier, the trend momentum was down, started a downside, but again, over here where there was a gap, it stalled its selling, it stopped, and it's trying to give an up move. Is it been successful so far? I would say no. It is not yet successful, but it is certainly trying. And if it wants to give a breakout, if it wants to move ahead, it needs to do it very, very fast. It can't stay here for very long. If it stays here and then gives a down move, तो ये जितना भी थोड़ा बहुत bullishness बना है वो सब बिगड़ जाएगा. So I think oil and gas space needs to go up very, very fast. But with a constant fluctuation in crude prices, it's going to be very difficult. So let's find out what happens in the next 1 or 2 weeks. Auto sector. Auto sector also, I would say that the overall trend is still down. You can see the displacement of the moving averages is still on the downside. Okay. But the momentum is completely flat. You can see that the price are chopping in one particular range. It is just in one particular range. And one more thing, if you can find out, if you can see that the last 2 weeks candle, I will repeat, last 2 weeks candle have a small wick on the downside. Now this wick is coming up at a zone when there is a large gap. ये कोई छोटा gap नहीं है. This is a very big gap. And this gap is certainly working as a decent short-term support. So I can say that some sort of buying is emerging over here. Now, will this be successful to give a breakout or not? Well, even I don't know. We'll have to find out. So I can say one thing, that so far, the state of trend in the weekly time frame chart is flat. And as a trader, as a short-term trader, for now at least, I would avoid taking negative trades in the auto pack, and I will wait patiently for something to happen. Consumer durables. Now, consumer durables also, I would say that the overall state of trend is flat. First of all, it has been super duper volatile in the last few months. It has been super duper volatile. So first of all, be very, very careful. But again, even over here, even in this particular sector, you can see the last 2 weeks candle have huge wicks on the downside. This is the last to last week. This is the last week. Huge wick on the downside. Even over here, this is a support. Now, will this be able to bounce back pretty sharply or not? Well, I don't know. but at least this is some sort of information which will help you to build some view that from bearish, the sector is trying to come into a zone, then at least it's not bearish. From not bearish, can it turn into bullish or not? ये तो भाई टाइम ही बताएगा. ठीक है. Going ahead, consumption pack. Now consumption pack, I believe it's positive. The way it has been moving, it has been able to give a sharp bounce back. We have a hammer over here in the last week. We have a small candle over here, which is basically within the entire body of the previous week's candle. This is the candle. I will just try to highlight this thing. This is the last week's candle, and this is this is the last week's candle, or ये last week का candle. So basically the volatility is contracting, and if you see one information which is very important, after an up move, the sector has retraced, but the sector has retraced a lot lesser. If I try to plot Fibonacci over here, it has only been able to retrace by 38.20% so far. It can retrace more in the next week, but so far it has retraced less. So from this particular position, if it tries to make an up move, it has decent chance to go up ahead. Will it be successful or not? I think only time will tell. Finance will, according to me, the overall state of trend over here is negative. No doubt the last week has been able to give a positive candle, but the way the flow of prices is happening right now, it's always about the flow of prices. It's surely negative in nature. So I think any bounce coming up in the daily chart will be used as a selling opportunity in the finance pack. Just be careful. FMCG. Now FMCG sector, as a trader, you have to be really careful. The reason for that is the previous trend was very strong on the downside. It was negative. Then it has been able to give a severe pullback. After this severe fast pullback, there was consolidation and one particular red candle over here. But along with this red candle, I can also see that there is volatility contracting happening in the daily time frame chart. And even the FMCG sector so far has been able to retrace much lesser in comparison to the many other sectors. Okay, it has been able to retrace just below the 23.6. It has not even reached 38.20% retracement. This is a good sign. Only thing over here is there are two heavyweights in this sector. I will not name them. There are two heavyweights. Out of that, both of them need to give an upside breakout. They need to make an upside move for the entire sector to move up ahead. If that does not happen, and if smaller stock starts moving up, that will not make much difference. ये चीज ध्यान रखिएगा. IT pack. Now this is one of the most important sectors to pay attention on. The current state of trend in the IT pack in the weekly time frame chart is surely negative. No doubts about that. And the recent up move, this one in the last few days, is just a mere pullback and not a trend reversal or something as such so far. Now, I have been talking about the private banking space since last few weeks, and this particular week it has shown its true color. It has not been able to give a breakout, but at least thoda sa up move aaya hai. So which is the next sector which is the heaviest weightage after the private banking space in Nifty? It is IT pack. So if private banking space gives an up move, and if unfortunately if the IT pack gives a down move, then the overall positive effect on Nifty will not be visible. So I mean, this is again just a hope or something you can say. Along with private banking space, if the IT space gives a proper pullback, then it will help Nifty to go up higher. And if there is second thing which can also happen, if IT space fails to give a pullback, it continues to move down, then all other sectors like auto, FMCG and other sectors which have lesser weightage, they need to move up ahead, which will nullify the negative move which will be done by IT pack. So this is just a scenario which can play out. How will it happen? No one knows. Just sharing this view with you. And let's wait and see what happens. And if you're a derivatives trader, if you probably want to initiate negative trades in IT pack, probably needs to give a bit more pullback on the upside for some meaningful trades. Infra pack pretty much positive. It has started an up move. Okay, it has started the initial up move. It has given a pullback. You can see that the last to last week candle is a very big hammer. Decent consolidation over here, currently range bound. But if it gives a breakout, you will see a nice decent move in the infra pack coming up in the next week. Metal pack. Metal pack overall in an uptrend. Overall in an uptrend, strong uptrend. With strong momentum. Only thing is the breakouts which are happening in the daily time frame charts are not sustaining, and the reason for that is this move was very fast in the weekly time frame charts. So basically the moving averages and the price is trying to catch up in the weekly time frame charts, and that is the reason the breakouts are not sustaining in the metal pack, but overall stance stays positive. Pharma, I would say that the overall trend momentum is certainly positive. It has been able to give a breakout after a very long time. Only thing is that it has been little bit stretched on the upside. Even you can see the RSI above 70 currently, and we have a negative candle in the weekly time frame chart. So some sort of consolidation is possible, but overall state of trend will remain positive. No doubts about that. Now let's move to the PSE sector. In the PSE sector, overall state of trend is certainly positive. The way it has been able to move up ahead. It has come down. The last week's candle is showing a pretty large wick on the downside. Trend momentum is positive. The daily time frame chart is okay. It's not that great. So if the daily time frame chart improves, starts moving up ahead, gives a breakout, we could fancy our chances on the upside in the PSE sector. Realty pack. Realty pack is certainly trying to improve. You can see an up move. Retracement, and after a retracement, this is not exactly a dark cloud, a bullish piercing pattern, but it is trying to do the same thing. The low has opened, the opening is almost near or in fact below the low of the previous week's candle, and then it's trying to move up ahead. So we'll have to find out what happens in the next week in the daily time frame chart of the realty pack. If this move continues with a high momentum, then this could probably give a turnaround to the realty pack. India Defense. India Defense, it is certainly a positive sector. Has given a retracement. It is showing a clear hammer over here. And after the hammer, it is consolidating. It is range bound in the daily time frame chart. Overall state of trend, positive. It needs to give a breakout, breaks the range, and then move up ahead. Overall biasness is certainly on the positive side. Midcaps, again positive, in high momentum, very high momentum, trying to break the shackles. Once it gives a breakout about this level, sustains, probably higher levels will be visible in the mid-cap. Again, coming up back on the Nifty, overall market in terms of the Nifty and Sensex, they are very range bound, and the main reason is the way private banking space and the IT space is moving. Understand one thing, if IT space, which is negative right now, it continues to be negative, and the private banking space gives a breakout, and along with that all smaller sectors, smaller yani ki sectors with lesser weightage like pharma, metal, realty or auto space, consumer durables, FMCG, all of them give a breakout, then maybe Nifty will be able to give a breakout. But if private banking space fails to give a breakout, over here which I have already highlighted, if it fails to give a breakout and even IT continues to be negative, then it's going to be really difficult for the Nifty to move up ahead. Remember that. So yes, some positivity is visible, but we need to be vigilant and pretty nimble-footed. Trade wisely and stay alert. Thank you.